Hello and welcome back to Umineko. When last we left off, we had a pretty lengthy beginning to the game as Kinzo appeared and made an initial move. Silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit, and the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she'd been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second and end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make that mark disappear, but I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light. But even if I looked up at the ceiling or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, she stared in the direction the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint, approaching silhouette came into view. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart. Maria. The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt pain in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor, as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face. Are you alright? Does it still hurt? Thanks, I'm fine, little guy. Where are we? It's really cold. Come this way. You mustn't stay here. That child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't even feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal sensation. So even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance, and my legs got tangled, and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself. Are you okay? I'm sorry, my head hurts. When the kid said that infantile word, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that that child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said so, frankly. I'm sorry, could you stop saying, are you? Wait a second, didn't I tell you to stop? Ooh, wow, ooh. Sorry. I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I'm around this child, my head hurts. Are you okay? Let's go, quickly. You mustn't stay here. Why shouldn't I be here? Hey, where is this? Who are you? Where is your mama? The one who made me is you, Mama. Huh? That child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all. Did you forget about me? You made me, right? Wait a second, stop kidding around. Maria is my only child. That's right, where's Maria? Where is she? Maria? I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where is Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria's there for me. Maria is here, but she's not Maria now. It's better if you don't meet with her now. That's better for your sake and Maria's as well. For Maria's sake as well. Escape. Huh? What are you saying? Where is Maria? Maria? Answer me! Maria's gonna find you. Come this way, quickly, Mama. That child pulled on my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped walking. Let go. Just who are you? What gives you the right to call me Mama? Mama is the one who made me. Did you forget? For Maria's birthday present. You made me with your own hands. Did you forget? You couldn't be Maria's Sakataro? Yes, the lion stuffed animal Mama made. Yeah. A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there, and deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big that I could see through to the other side. Are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong? Sakutaro noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury. But in my eyes, it felt like I'd been injured because he'd grabbed my hand, regardless of whether there was malice in him. I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie. Go away. You have nothing to do with me. Sakutaro was just a disgusting, crappy stuffed animal, right? I don't know you, and I'm not your mama. Go away. Disappear. You. Slowly, the base of Sakutaro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open and pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it. Only an empty blackness peeked out. Then, from the insides of the gash, cotton snow poured out, and as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. Then, all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth, and bits of cotton that looked like sticky, crushed cotton candy. A lion stuffed animal, without a doubt. These were the remains of the Sakutaro stuffed animal I tore apart on that day while overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Wah! Sakutaro! Wah! Wah! Like a flood from a broken dam, or like a broken TV, Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by my emotions and went overboard. It was a mother's desire to kneel down right away, hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying. But Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly. And then it burst. After all, she refused to make up with me even though I'd apologized. And there was nothing else I could do now anyway, and it was all Maria's fault in the first place. Since she's too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this, she can't make any friends, and that's why people treat her like a freak. This is a perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. Everything eventually breaks, is stolen, is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers and sister and father and mother. But when I cried about that, while I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents, throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick and make a racket. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did, so I always held it back. It's because I held it back that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. At that moment, I felt something strange. The same feeling as when you use a tool recklessly, and it finally breaks so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool. I'd just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So, I looked at my hands. From my wrist onwards, my hands had broken off, splintered, and disappeared. As though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. No, as though all of me from the wrists onwards had suddenly become ceramic and had broken and fallen. They must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look, aren't both of my wrists lying smashed by my feet? There was no pain, but the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream. What is this? What is this? My hands, my hands, my hands! Yee! This way, you won't be able to hit me anymore. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head where they had been defending against my barrage. What's happening? My hands! My hands! What did you do? Maria, what is this? What on earth is this? Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult. Who? If she'd used those hands for patting her daughter's head, flipping through picture books, or making warm meals, it may have been worth leaving them on. Mama hit my head more than she patted it. She never opens picture books. She doesn't even make me food. I go to buy it myself. But I mustn't go to the same store more than once. Mustn't have my face remembered. Mustn't talk to the policeman. Why? Why is that? Is it my fault? Am I not allowed to have Mama pat my head, have picture books read to me, or eat dinner with Mama? Why not? Why not? I didn't do anything wrong. It isn't my fault. It's Mama's. Mama's fault. Mama wouldn't play with me, but Sakataro did. He even read books, watched TV, and ate meals with me. He was a much, much better friend than Mama was. I'm not proud of it. But what am I supposed to do? I'm busy with work. Work, I tell you. You know that, right? It was unavoidable. There's nothing I can do. True enough. It was unavoidable. Unavoidable that you'd injure your daughter, tearing her heart apart and making her tears run with blood. In that case, there's no avoiding the same thing happening again, right here, right now. Come, Maria. Enough of the excuses from a woman who calls herself a mother. Can you forgive her or not? Is she innocent or guilty? I won't forgive her. Mama's guilty. I'll make Mama meet the same fate she gave to Sakataro. Take Mama from the seam at the neck and tear her apart so we can see the cotton inside her. Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In that instant, invisible, massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body made a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa had understood vaguely. The massive arms were probably her own arms from the time she'd torn Sakutaro apart. From a stuffed animal's perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. So she could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails stuck deep into the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. Then, as the two witches watched over her, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakutaro had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes. But in Rosa's case, something like black, thick tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red of blood. It was something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside their body. This is incredible. Hideous. What filthy insides. Splendidly done, Maria. Well then, is this enough for your revenge? Can you forgive your mother or not? Innocent or guilty? I can't forgive her. Still can't forgive her. She's guilty. When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant. Feel the depths of your sin, which cannot be repaid by a single human life. And remember your own great sin. Come, try and remember. Remember the scale of your sin. Hello? Is it Mama? When will you get home? I'm sorry. I'm busy with work today, so I'm staying over. Staying over for work again? Looks like work is tough for you again today, Mama. Yeah, sorry. I really am busy. I'll be holed up in the company the whole time. I can't even get a breath of outside air. Mama just can't finish her job quickly this time. Unless I give them a better design, I won't be given another job. That's how tough this work is. So it'll just have to take some time. Yeah, I understand. I'll be a good girl and watch over the house. So do your best at work. Finish it quickly and come back, okay? Thank you for understanding about Mama's work. I promise I'll buy a delicious cake tomorrow and take it home. I don't need cake. Instead of taking time to go to the cake store, I'd be happier if you came home that much sooner. Don't worry, I'll come back quickly, I promise. So let's have some delicious cake together. Let's drink delicious tea together. Let's read a new picture book together. Let's play with that wolves and sheep puzzle I bought the other day. Both of us together. I promise. Yeah, promise. I'll be waiting. Do your best at work, Mama. Oh, it's a lonely story, but isn't this mother-daughter love wonderful, with both looking out for the other? Do you see any problem with it, Maria, Rosa? I kept that promise, didn't I? The next evening, didn't I do as I promised, buying a cake and returning earlier than usual? That's not it. I knew. That evening, a pay-on-delivery package came for Mama, but there wasn't enough money in the wallet. So I called Mama's company to ask what to do. I was told only to call at special times. But I thought it would be bad if the package was something important for Mama's work. So I called. Then I was told that Mama had the day off. I was told that it had been decided long ago that Mama would have that day off, and that she'd gone far away to play. I knew. The whole time. I knew Mama was lying. But you know what? Sakatara scolded me, saying that it wasn't true. Every day, Mama was very busy with work. There was no way she'd abandon Maria and play. He said that the person who told us Mama had the day off must have made some kind of mistake. That's what Sakutaro said. So I believed it. I believed it. I love Mama. Love her. Of course, Mama says that she loves me. Loves me. Yes, me too. I love you, Maria. Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out even more beautifully. On the table in front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below. You didn't tell your daughter you were on vacation? I told her once, but she was so noisy that I decided not to tell her anymore. It's less work that way. If you were worried about your daughter, you didn't have to force yourself to put this in your schedule, right? But that way we'd never get our schedules to match. Didn't I say not to worry about that? The slender, middle-aged man, clad in a white robe, gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action. Come on, let's not talk about my daughter. It'd be a waste of this precious wine. I find you fascinating as both a woman and a human being. But for that very reason, I feel bad about taking so much of your time that it strains your relationship with your daughter. No, I always tell you not to worry about my relationship with my daughter. I try not to talk about her when I'm alone with you, okay? I wouldn't even have phoned from here if it weren't for the noisy drunk laughing stupidly in the lobby downstairs. Rosa-san, can't you reconsider taking some vacations like this in the future, for your daughter's sake? Isn't it enough if we only meet when our schedules match? Our schedules will never match up that way, right? And I always want to be with you. And that's a child's way of loving. Loving in between adults should be a little more stoic. Not being able to be with you for long periods of time makes me lonely too. However, I think we can enjoy more than enough adult loving during that limited time. So you're telling me to go be with my daughter more? Be a mother, not a woman? And that's what you want too, right? You must also want to spend lots of time with your daughter. I won't run away. I'm trying to say that I think it's sad for you to sacrifice your daughter so you can prioritize your time with me. Did you get back on good terms with your wife? Looks like you've had about enough of being separated from her. I don't want to talk about my wife. Just like you don't want to talk about your daughter. I'm sure you think single women with children are a pain. I've never said anything of the sort before. Whenever someone finds out I have a child, they desert me. Even if I tell them not to worry about paying that child's living expenses, they all desert me. I thought you understood about my daughter. But I guess you don't like single women with children after all. That's not what I'm saying. I haven't started to dislike you, Rosa-san. I'm just trying to tell you to take better care of our daughter. Something I wish you knew for yourself. And I don't want you to hurt yourself by lying to her. That's all I'm saying. Liar! I've just become a burden for you, right? This is not what I'm saying. No, I know. I understand. After being abandoned so many times because of that child, I know. I can tell by your mood. Yes, you're already like those other men. You don't want a woman with a child. You don't want a divorce because that's a pain. You don't want to become the parent of a child made with another man, right? Yes, that's right. I totally get it. I once went out with a man with children, so I really get how you feel. That's why I believed I'd be able to be together with you, a person who understood about my daughter. That's right. You were always in the way. If only you didn't exist, I would have been able to grasp my happiness as a woman long ago. Because you exist, you're always in the way of my happiness. Mama. Even I didn't want you to be born. No, that's not it. I thought I might be able to build a happy family together with you. But that man disappeared right before your birth. He said he'd build a warm family with me, tricked me, and disappeared from my sight for all eternity. Only you were left. No love or memories or anything remained. Where did that man go? He probably just turned my days with him into a warm memory and met with a new love. And this time, he might have been able to create a happy family. And as for me, I have you. I can't even look for a new love. Men can go between women as they like and brag about it, but for a woman, for me, I have you. I had you as a stone weight, and because of you, I can't search for romance, I can't find love, and I can only live alone. No, I wasn't even allowed that. I wasn't even allowed a night to drink myself drunk all alone. Who are you? Who? You wasted my life and won't even let me have a new life. Just who are you to my life? Die, disappear. I've hated you since the time you were born. I've hated you since the time you were in my womb. I've been doing my best to act like a good mother so that I'd be accepted by the outside world. Yes, I've done my best. As I watched other women of my generation praise being single, sometimes playing with passion or even being joined with someone in love, I was stuck being both a mother and a woman. Whoever showed appreciation for my efforts, no one admired me, no one praised me. I got what I deserved? Second-hand goods? Divorcees should die? You don't want anyone who's not a virgin? I'm the one who doesn't want anything to do with you, you damn inexperienced virgin brats. I was so desperate, I probably looked like an easy woman to you. Yes, I was desperate. You probably couldn't imagine how desperate a woman like me, who's still at the age where she wants to know love, was. When I realized that my time was being filled with work and caring for my child, so that I'd probably grow old and end my life still like this. Of course, I hate your real father too, but we both share the blame for bringing about that catastrophe. I myself might have been persistent enough to make him run away. But the catastrophes after that were all your fault. When did I ever scold you for that? Never, right? The day after one man left me, when I wanted to drink myself dead drunk, was Parents' Day at your school. When I tried to hide my tear-stained eyes with heavy makeup, the way I felt when you said something off the mark and the whole class laughed at you, is something that not only you, but probably everyone in the world couldn't understand. I hate you, loathe you. And until now, I've never really loved you even once. Wow. Maria's face was still stiff. If the words really had been blades, Maria's whole body would probably be stained red with fresh blood by now. Even after gaining the power of a witch and resolving herself to take revenge for Sakatara, she couldn't stand these curses coming out of her mother's mouth. Mama. Whoa. Whoa. Ugly. How ugly is a woman drowning in lust. Now you see this woman's true nature. Even I, as a witch who has explored the depths of evil, find this most difficult to watch. Maria, now is the time to part from her. Smash the ugly lump of meat that calls herself your mother. It would be pointless for your pure soul to be bound by the chains between mother and daughter any longer. With your own hand, release your own soul now. You have now gained the tooth and claw to protect yourself. Now you'll taste the pain I had to go through. Now I'll take revenge for those days of suffering. Aren't you the one who's been hurting me? I'm the one who wants revenge. I should have done that before you were born. If only you hadn't been born. Disappear. As Rosa howled in a way that can only be described by the word splat, her upper body was crushed, and in an instant became something similar to a wrung, blood-stained towel. Be crushed. I can't forgive you. Can't forgive you. What filth. That form suits you. Even though Rosa's waist and below was standing normally, just the upper half of her body had been pinched, and that extreme contrast was bizarre. Then she fell over, but the instant she fell, her body was restored. You die. Come, Maria. Is this the limit of your anger and sadness? Now is the time for revenge. Time for the settlement of anger and sadness. Hit her, spit it out. Push out all of the wedges driven into your chest and fling them back at her. Wow. Maria's howl was adorned with the ugly sound of flesh and bone being crushed at the same time. As Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, lay spread-eagled, a neat, perfect circle was cut out of her chest and crushed, as though her chest had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart and her lungs and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly that they were completely indistinguishable. It might have symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until today. So, Maria, are you satisfied now? Can you forgive your mother for her sin, or not? Innocent or guilty? I can't forgive her. Not yet, not yet. Mama is guilty, guilty, guilty. Can't forgive her. Indeed, how could this level of punishment compare to the bitter days you suffered through? Know it, Rosa. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Revive in order to be killed. Be killed over and over so that your sins can be purified. When Beato waved her cane, the body was restored again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently in apparent pain, and once again she spat out curses, rejecting Maria. You aren't Mama. You're a witch tormenting me and Mama. I won't forgive you just because you look like Mama. I won't forgive you. You're the witch, aren't you? Always reading creepy books and pretending to play with witches. You're the one who should disappear. Because of you, even I'm treated like a freak. Because of you. Because of you. If only you hadn't been born. Don't be born. I've hated you since before you were born. Maria screamed. Was she unable to bear her anger and sadness? Or else had she been taken over by an indescribable emotion? It was surely a cry of hopelessness. And yet, it was a reality that had to be accepted. Maria knew. She knew that she was thought of as a burden. But even though she herself had known that, she didn't believe it. She'd believed that her mother loved her, and had done her best to positively interpret several events that could have made her doubt this. Trusting and clinging to her mother's love. But she had no one except Mama. Even so, she really did like Mama, and wanted to return to the days when she'd believed that Mama loved her. So I howled, I'll erase all of it. I won't accept it. I'll deny it. I'll deny the mother who says these things, the black witch who makes her say them, and the part of myself that can't forgive my mother. But I can't deny it. This is reality, fact, the truth, the answer. Without any mistake, this is absolute reality. Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over. Over and over, in the dark world that reflected her heart. Rang the ugly sound of flesh and bone being torn apart, which would make anyone want to cover their ears. Each time, Beatrice revived Rosa. She dragged her back into the world of endless torture, which could not be escaped from even by death. This was the true, deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will, because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, she asked the same question to Maria. Are you satisfied, Maria? Can your anger forgive your mother yet? How could I forgive her? How could I forgive her? I won't forgive her. I'll teach you all of my pain. Teach you much, much more. It's still not enough, not close to enough. Since I was born, since before I was born, I can't get rid of the anger and sadness of being neglected so long. I hate you. Hate you. Revive over and over again. Return to a meat lump over and over again. In various ways, she crushed, smashed, beat, and tore to bits. Flying blood spatter and flesh turned the once... Excuse me. Go away. Flying blood spatter and flesh turned the once pitch black world into a world with mixed red and black. Maria's anger still hadn't calmed down. It was as though she was spitting out all of the suppressed rage from the time of her birth until today. If that all became poison to her heart, then would the repeated murder of her mother purify her soul? Would even this wasteful murder save her soul at least a little bit? This endless torture might have become a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she'd finally been able to regain her smile. Learn it. You, the source of my unhappiness, learn it. Learn that what you're feeling is nothing compared to my pain. What's wrong? Why'd you stop laughing? Try and laugh. Okay. Yeah. Half of her skull collapsed. Eyeballs flew out and black cranial fluid gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered. Come on, revive. Try and laugh. Come on, come on. Yeah. Her whole chest, along with her ribs, turned inside out, exposing her filthy innards. All of them writhed like some kind of impure creature. Come on, come on, come on! Revive! Can you still laugh? Can you still laugh? Rosa couldn't laugh anymore, but her face was laughing. It was filled with a twisted laugh, and covered with a malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I erased that laughing voice. Next, I'll erase that laughing face. I'll erase it, I'll crush it, I'll tear it to bits. Laugh, try and laugh, Mama. What's wrong, Mama? Let's wake up, read a picture book, and go take a walk. Let's say we love each other, make a promise for next Sunday. Let's go shopping, let's go to the movies. And of course you'll break that promise. Isn't it fun, Mama? Isn't it fun, Mama? I'm playing with Mama now, right? That's right, you are now playing with your mother, having fun with her. Tell me how you feel right now. I don't believe it's anger or sadness or pain. Yeah, that's right. I get it, Beatrice. I'm having a lot of fun now. I'm playing with Mama, so it's tons of fun. And even though I'm killing Mama over and over again, she can be revived with just a single bit of magic. I took care of my toys because I couldn't fix them if they broke. But if the toy could be fixed, I'd want to break it over and over again. But Sakutaro won't be fixed. He can't be fixed. Because Mama, who made him, Mama, who gave birth to him, won't acknowledge him. I wasn't acknowledged by Mama either, was I? So the broken Maria won't be fixed either. It's fun, Mama. Since it's gotten so fun, I'm somehow starting to feel that I could forgive you. Hey, Beato, this is a very strange feeling. Why? Why am I starting to feel like I can forgive Mama? That enlightened state is only reached by witches who have gained the power to control life and death at will. You can kill at any time. You can revive her if needed. If that's a pain, then it's alright to kill her again. Once you've learned that you can do this at any time by simply snapping your fingers, all nonsense spoken in the world of humans becomes a chirping of insects that isn't worth listening to. You didn't begin to think about forgiving your mother because your eyes were opened to your mother's love. It was because now you stand at the entrance to the world of true witches. Welcome, Maria, to the profound and sweet world of witches. I've done it. Maria is no longer Maria. I may still be an apprentice, but I've surpassed the human world. I am now the apprentice witch of origins, Maria. There's nothing to frustrate me, nothing to make me sad. Mama, I'll forgive you. I'm sure I can forgive you. I think I'll be able to forgive you after doing just a bit more. After all, I'm a witch. Maria would probably forgive her mother eventually, after brutally murdering her countless times. Graciously. Whoa, that last thunder was loud. Must have been pretty close, right? Looks like it. No matter how old you get, thunder still makes you jump. Battler was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would shine, and he seemed to be enjoying it. Oh? Look, you were so noisy you woke Maria up. Sorry, Maria. Sorry, Badly's so freaking loud. What the hell? So it's my fault? Sorry, Maria. It's okay to go back to sleep. Good night. Maria was a bit hazy, with drowsy eyes. She was probably half asleep but couldn't think straight. No, that's okay. I won't sleep. Nah, go ahead and sleep. You're still half asleep, aren't you? I'm not half asleep. Oh. Come on, you're totally half asleep, aren't you? Sleep, sleep. I'm not half asleep. Not half asleep. Ew, ew. Ew, 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 ew. Quit it, stupid battler. Ah, sheesh, what are you thinking? Getting a kid who's just woken up into a bad mood. I'm not half asleep. Not half asleep. Ew, 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 ew. I understand, Maria-chan. You aren't half asleep. So calm down. Not half asleep. Not half asleep. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. Maybe it was because of her delicate mental state after waking up, but Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Battler had only been trying to tease her a bit, so he was confused by this extreme overreaction. George held her head, trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't going to be quelled easily. Battler and Jessica were trying to push the blame on each other, saying, "It's your fault. It's your fault too." Hey, be quiet, you two. Jessica-chan, there was still some hot water in the pot, right? Could you make some tea for her? Did you calm down, Maria-chan? It looked like her tantrum was dying down bit by bit, but she still glared at Battler, who had made fun of her, with sharp eyes. Battler-kun was just kidding around. He doesn't really think you're half asleep. So calm down, okay? George noticed. Maria was staring at Battler with incredible eyes. And, despite having just displayed all that emotion, she laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laugh, it seemed more like she was muttering while thinking about, or else counting, each he. As though each time she said he, something brutal would happen over and over. George felt something creepy for just an instant, but he couldn't spot the madness that peeked out of the depths of the girl's eyes for just a moment. After a short period of stunned silence on George's part, Maria stopped her bizarre, quiet laugh and pushed George's arm aside, as though telling him to let go. Oh, I'll forgive him. Really? You're such a good girl, Maria. Battler-kun, Maria-chan forgave you. Make up. Yeah, sorry for teasing you. Forgive me. Hey, Maria, let's make some cafe au lait as a sign that you've made up. I'll put in lots of sugar so it'll be sweet. I don't need it, but I'll forgive you. Because I'm a witch. One more time, Maria laughed in a creepy, quiet voice. But it was only for a very short time, so Battler and Jessica didn't think much of it. They decided to think that it had probably only looked that way when the lightning lit her cheek with a pale white light for an instant. At that time, they could hear the sound of loud footsteps coming from the hall. It was already about 10:30, late at night. Late at night is usually a time when you aren't supposed to be disturbed. Hearing footsteps like that at this time was far from calming. Then, along with a clearly ominous knock that repeated fiercely, they could hear Goda and Kumasawa's voices that clearly told them this was an abnormal situation. Children, are you there? Are you there? It's Goda. It's Kumasawa. Is everyone okay? What has happened? What has happened? When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. It looked like they had dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella. What's wrong, you two? Did something happen? It was the master and Krasama and everyone. Oh, wow. And that's going to do it for this section. I had completely forgotten there was that whole scene with Rosa. That was a lot. And I think... next time is going to be... I didn't look closely enough at that time. About 10:40, so... I think we're sticking. Maybe even with the same group. Or... well, okay, I guess not. But I do believe we stay on the island of Rokkenjima for quite a while still. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.